All right, guys, so today we're going to try and remember how to graph a linear inequality. So if we remember, we have to look at that inequality symbol and help us decide whether we're going to shade above or below, and whether it's going to be a dotted line or a solid line. So when I look at my very first equation here, I notice that it's already in slope-intercept form. You guys remember slope-intercept form is y x plus b, and my m is my slope, and my b is my start. So when I look at this first problem, I already have a slope and a start, but over here I don't. So I need to make sure that I do that. So for this one, I know that my slope is 4/3, and my start, or my y-intercept, is -2. So remember that that means I'm going up 4 and I'm going right 3. So the first step is to start at -2. Remember that that's where we start on the y-axis. So on my y-axis, I'm going to start at -2. Put a dot. Then my slope tells me I go up 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right 3, 1, 2, 3, and I put a new dot. And then I do that again if I can. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now I can take a ruler and then I can draw a line through those points, all the way through to the bottom of the graph, because I want to shade now. So first I want to figure out, how do I shade this one? So if I come back to my inequality sign, it's this symbol here. And if I recall in my notes, that means that it's below and the line is solid. So I drew a correct line. And now I'd figure out which way is below. So if you guys remember, we would pick a point, any of the points that we drew, and we can draw a line or an arrow from that point to help me out if I'm not sure which way to shade. So that one shows me that I'm going to shade below. So I'm going to pick a color, and I'm going to shade everything down here. And if I wanted to pick a coordinate as a solution, sometimes we were doing that, like whether this coordinate was a solution or not, I can pick any point as long as it's in this blue area. So say I went to this point. I can say that this is a solution, and the coordinate for this point is x and y, so 4, -3. So for the second equation, I need to do the same thing, but before I can do anything, I have to turn it into slope-intercept form. So if I know that I need the y by itself, then over here, I'm going to move this to x. And I'm just subtracting it because it is the opposite of what I need to do. If it's a positive 2x, I'm going to subtract it. If it was a negative 2x to start, I would add it to move it over. So I can't subtract 2 from 10 because the 10 doesn't have an x. So instead, I'm just going to write it next to each other because I need it to look like mx plus b. So there's something x and then plus a number. But my last step is to divide by 5 because I need to get rid of that 5. And when I divide 2/5 in the calculator, I get a weird decimal. So if I try this right now, I do -2 divided by 5, I get -0.4, and that's not going to help me graph. So I'm going to leave this one as -2/5 x plus 2, because 10 divided by 5 is 2. So now, over here on the side, I know that my slope is -2/5, so that means I'm going to go down 2 and right 5. And my start, oh, I keep it in my eraser, is at +2. I can now also go ahead and determine that this symbol means that it's going to be above and dash. So I'll start at +2. I will go down to right 5. Run out of space, so 2 dots should be enough, but if I want, I could always go backwards from my original dot up 2, and then left 5. And then draw that line all the way through. That's not what I wanted. And now I have to shade. Oh, I didn't even make my line dashed. See, we do that all the time. dashed line. That's why we write it down first so that we know what to do. And this time the shading is above. So if I pick any of my points, I know I have to go up. So my shaded area is this area right here. Same rule applies if I want to pick an area that is a solution. I can pick any coordinate as long as it's in this yellow area. So I could always do, let's say 2, 5. Hopefully this helped you guys out. Good luck graphing.